This is Paballelo, a township somewhere in Africa. And somewhere in this shot, you'll find a bakery that we started with only $20. This isn't a story about money or luck. It's about what happens when you refuse to stop moving. And how $20 we couldn't afford to waste turned into something we never saw coming.
This is from scratch.
Since I was 10, I discovered that I have a love for the kitchen. Whether it's baking or cooking, I am there. And everyone who knows me, they know that I just love cooking. And my aunt, knowing that I actually love cooking, she asked me, can I bake a birthday cake for her birthday? And I agreed because I love doing it. And she asked me, how much would it be? I had no idea, but I just gave her the price. And after that, the next step was to buy ingredients, but I didn't have the money to buy these ingredients, right? But luckily, I got the money from our social grant, which is for unemployed people, 350 rand. And I used that amount of money to buy the ingredients to make the cake for her. And I'm sure you're wondering, what 350 is this?
In providing and alleviating the plight of the poor, government has reinstated the social relief grants and is contributing 400 million rand
to support those who have no means of supporting themselves. We are reinstating the social relief of disaster grant to provide a monthly payment of 350 until the end of March 2022.
Now we have the ingredients, but we have to bake the cake, right? So I had this small oven, the one with the 2 plates at the top, and then you open it like this. The others call it the rotisserie oven from ShopRite. That was my uni oven, and I used it to make this cake. But in the end, we had the cake, and then came another one, and another one came. And then finally, when we were out there and people saw our product, a customer asked for a Liverpool cake, and I panicked, because I had no idea how we're gonna make this cake. But eventually we pulled it off, and then it went from Liverpool to Spider-Man to Mickey Mouse to SpongeBob and to many more cakes. And now fast forward to 2025, which is now, we have made close to 2,000 cakes.
Since COVID, food inflation has been crazy.
Food price inflation in South Africa is pushing up grocery prices by almost 50%.
In South Africa, food prices hit a 14-year high. While core inflation cooled to 5.5% in November, From 5.9% the month before, food inflation increased 9% year on year.
A lot of our kids doesn't go to school, doesn't have something to eat in morning, afternoon, and at the night.
Everything goes up, but the money doesn't increase.
And even though the prices of all foods across the board have been rising, we have identified bread as the one problem that we want to solve. Our goal is not necessarily to make bread cheap, but what we want to do is to lower the rate at which the price of bread increases. Why? Because I don't want to wake up 10 years from now in a world where I can't afford bread anymore. And at the rate that we are moving now, that will likely happen. And we have to remind ourselves that even though we cannot control the system, we can control how we respond. And we are responding. We started saving a percentage of every single cake we made. And then when we had saved enough, we started reinvesting that money back into the business. And finally, we started producing bread. Our local church provided us with space to operate in. And finally, things started looking up. We started selling our bread to spaza shops, fast food spots, takeaway spots, and quarter houses. Things were looking up. Then load shedding started happening.
Eskom's expected to implement stage 2 load shedding.
Load shedding.
Load shedding in stages, which means higher the load shedding stage, the more frequent customers will experience power outages. It is stage 5 of load shedding, which means a 5,000 megawatt will be shed from the national grid. This also means South Africans will experience 8 hours of power cut in intervals every day.
Surveyed 100 people, and the top 5 answers are on the board. Name a reason why you would light a candle. Sidika.
Load shedding.
Load shedding.
I remember how difficult it was for us because we were a very small bakery at the time, which we still are in many ways. Every minute counted. We didn't have a huge production. We only had a small oven. And so we needed the time to produce as much bread as we could to keep the business going. Slowly but surely, we started producing less and less bread. And finally, it was just too much for us. Our business started to suffer and we were becoming broke, almost completely broke. And we were looking at a situation where we had to shut down our doors.
So we took the decision to look for external funding, like the bank, government, financial institution. And guess what? Rejection, rejection, rejection. And unfortunately, we had to find out the hard way.
Well, besides the fact that banks, including government, don't finance startups and are not willing to share that risk with you. And we don't have that facility in this country. In many countries, something like the ITC or CIFA would be an institution that is positioned to take a loss.
But for the importance of starting businesses.
Of starting businesses and getting those lendings and everything. In this country, unfortunately, we don't have that. And it's a lending, but unfortunately it's a lending.
they were not willing to take the risk on us. But one thing about us, we don't give up and we will make a plan. We started to join competitions and corporate EST programs, and little by little, we started catching our wins again and again. And from there, we started rising. In the beginning of the year, the church decided to demolish the building, and that was one thing that we just weren't expecting. They're building something new, which is a good thing for them, but I guess we were not part of their future plans. You see in the rom-com where there's this one guy that has a good girl and he messes up the relationship, but then in the end he has to come and make this grand gesture to save the relationship. That's us right now. We are here trying to make this big gesture to save what we love, and unfortunately we can't do it on ourselves.
But we are not giving up. The story is not over. We have already found a new place and construction has started. The dream is still alive. Oh, don't go anywhere. We have bloopers.
And I made it.
Senate, very easy.
Yeah. Oh hell no.
Yes. And even though the food
Locally.
ons wat stuk vir stuk.
Kan. Je moet letterlijk zo gaan.
Ja, dat is wat drama. Okay, next. YouTube guys, yo.